There's so much more to art than meets the eye. Every stroke of the brush, every detail has a hidden meaning, waiting to be decoded. This was the manifesto behind the Symbolism movement. Every symbol was supposed to hold a complex emotion, a story behind it. The artists were no longer painting just things, but ideas. But how relevant is this movement today? Better yet, why is it needed in the first place? Join us as we take a deep dive into history and try to capture just what symbolism means. Picture this. It's the late 19th century, and naturalism and realism have been around for the longest time. But some people decide that art could be greater. Instead of laying everything bare, they started creating metaphors on the canvas. The Symbolist movement started with literature, particularly the works of Edgar Allan Poe and John Moreau, but quickly exploded into something far bigger. The idea that art was supposed to be deeper and emotional rather than objective struck a chord with many younger artists who began rejecting the conventions they had always been taught. The movement began in France, but all over the world, symbolist works became the new rave. The artists all had different techniques and styles, but there are a few things you can look for in most symbolist works. They all had unmodulated colors, broad brushwork, and flat, abstract forms. But what really bound them together was the emphasis on imagination and emotions over realism and rationalism. For example, a red rose can symbolize love and passion, while a white dove can symbolize peace and purity. A river might symbolize the passage of time or the journey of life, while a snake might symbolize temptation or evil. Symbolists were looking for an escape from their everyday life, and through the coded images they found a whole new world where they could express anything. Topics that had previously been taboo were all suddenly within the realm of possibility. They found a sanctuary in their personal beliefs, fantasies, and mythical and biblical stories. Death, decadence, and the occult frequently showed up in these works. While monsters became an expression of the darkest pits of human minds, women started becoming favored as the expression of love, sexual awakening, and unrequited desire. They were both innocent virgins and femme fatales. Perhaps no other artwork displays this idea better than Orpheus. For his 1865 masterpiece, Gustave Moreau found inspiration in Greek mythology. In the tale of Orpheus, the titular character was killed and dismembered by the worshippers of the wine god Dionysus after he refused their advances. In the painting, a woman cradles his head, apparently mourning over his death. For a second, you'd be fooled. You would think of her as an ingenue, an innocent soul, but she's anything but that. Because when you look closer, you'll notice her bare feet. Is she really mourning him, or is she one of the women who tore him apart on his refusal? The duality is what defines symbolist aesthetics. They were obsessed with the idea of a femme fatale, a dangerous woman who lured men to their deaths. Then again, aren't we all? This isn't the only fascinating symbolist work by Moreau, though Jupiter and Semele was just as influential. In this, he once again draws his inspiration from Greek mythology. This piece is a masterclass in the representation of the sexual side of symbolism. As Semele and Jupiter merge, she's consumed by his light. Through his work, Moreau meant to show how man merges with the divine after his demise. Of course, some works completely leave the idea of both Greek mythology and women behind to focus on something much darker. The eye, like the strange balloon mounts towards infinity, painted in 1882, is one of these artworks. The single eye, The all-seeing eye of God is an old symbol, but here it's completely transformed. The large scale of the eye is the symbol of the spirit rising out of the dead matter of the swamp. It's disturbing to look at, and yet fascinating. You simply cannot help but be drawn to it, wondering what it means. And that is the essence of symbolism. Many artists today still use symbols to convey deeper meanings and emotions in their work. For example, in street art, artists may use stencils or images representing social and political issues to make a statement. In fashion, designers may use certain colors or patterns to evoke certain emotions or convey a message. The movement may have begun over a century ago, but it still remains relevant today. The artworks still leave us wondering for a long time after we see them. To many, symbolism was the beginning of a higher form of art. What do you think of symbolism? Let us know in the comments, and if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more content.